Hello, everybody. Welcome to Law Made Simple and Comprehensive. I'm NK and I am very excited to be back. Today, I would like us to focus on the Introduction to Research Methodology, IRM1501 ECP July 2021 portfolio. Guys, I know that we all know the correct way of writing a portfolio because most especially you guys, you have done this before. This is not a first time. So you need to remember that you cannot write a portfolio which doesn't have cover page, and our portfolio needs to contain of the table of contents, and it also needs to contain of footnotes and endnotes. In-text citation is very important, most especially on this module. You know that you cannot summarize a case which doesn't have footnotes. If you do not know the correct way of inserting footnotes, please just check your tutorial letter 302 or 301. I'm not sure which one is it, but one of the two. There is somewhere where they have shown us the correct way of referencing. But I'm also planning to show you how to insert those footnotes and all that, but due to time we might fail. So just try to look it up. Okay, without any further waste of time, the first question says, discuss plagiarism and make examples where necessary. You know, guys, that when you define something, you need to do research on it. Make thorough research and provide all the necessary information that it's supposed to be provided on that particular topic. So here our topic is plagiarism. The first thing that we need to do is define from a source what plagiarism is. By a source, I'm talking about a dictionary, the internet, the encyclopedia, or whatever source that you are going to find the definition of the word plagiarism. So we need to further explain in our own words how one can plagiarize, because you cannot just go to the internet and copy everything. That is unacceptable. The thing that you can do is to paraphrase. Just read everything there and try to put it in your own words. Try to paraphrase it, explain it in your own words, Then we need to give reasons why people plagiarize and go on mentioning the types of forms of plagiarism. Then we can further state the ways of avoiding plagiarism. So when you have touched all these that I have mentioned before, then you know that you have fully discussed what plagiarism is. You cannot just simply give out that the definition of plagiarism and think that you have discussed it. You need to remember that this is a research-based module. We need to do research. We are required. It is compulsory. And if you define the term plagiarism from a source, it is going to give you the advantage of inserting a footnote, because it is compulsory for us to provide footnotes and endnotes throughout our portfolio. Okay, let's read about plagiarism on our study guide. I am on page 44 of our study guide. Plagiarism. What is plagiarism? The term plagiarism is debated vastly in academia. What we seek to do here is to show you some of the accepted definitions of this term. The Oxford English Dictionary defines plagiarism as the action or practice of plagiarizing plagiarizing, the wrongful appropriations or purloining and publication as one's own of the ideas or expression of the ideas of another. Furthermore, it is fraud that occurs when a researcher steals the ideas or writings of another or uses them without citing the source. This is what I was saying, that we need to look it up from a dictionary and give out insert the footnote. Because when we give out the definition from the particular source that we would have used, whatever source, it could be a tutorial letter 101, tutorial letter 501, whatever source that you have used to find the term plagiarism. Maybe you have used the internet or whatever. You need to cite it. You need to show that this definition you got it from somewhere. It is not your own definition, because you cannot define plagiarism like in your own way. You can do it in your own words, but because we are trying to get some points here, we are showing that we have done our research. We need to cite a source. When we further read on our study guide, we get the forms of plagiarism. It says here, plagiarism manifests itself in various forms. Below are examples of cases of plagiarism. 1. It arises in situations where a researcher fails or omits to indicate clearly, for example, with quotation marks or indent and different font, phrases or passages taken verbatim, that is, word for word, from a published or unpublished text without crediting the original text and author. It occurs in cases where a statute, case law, book, article, or electronic text is paraphrased without acknowledging the source or sources and the author thereof. 3. It arises in circumstances where more than a substantial part of or the entire statute, case law, book, article, or electronic text is used. So, according to me, I don't know about you. According to me, I don't feel like this information that we got from our study guide is enough for us to write, to fully discuss what plagiarism is. Then I did my own research, but because I was trying to stay relevant to our what I don't know, maybe our institution, I just decided to go to the tutorial letter 501 of INS 1502, where plagiarism is fully discussed. And I found something quite interesting there. Let's just go and check it out. You see here that plagiarism, you are going to understand fully when I read everything here. We are going to get everything that I mentioned here. We're going to get the term plagiarism, the definition of it, and when we look it up somewhere else, it's going to give us the advantage again to also insert footnotes, and this actually gives us marks, more especially on this module, because we are required, it is compulsory for us to do further research and not dwell on the study guide only. And you can also go further and look it up on the internet. It says here, plagiarism is a term that is often used in association with copyright and the protection of intellectual property. If you have done your research from the internet or another source, maybe the dictionary, encyclopedia, or whatever source that you have used, which is relevant and acceptable, it should not be Google, it should not be Quora, it should not be all those Wikipedia and those kind of stuff that we are warned against. Um, Even when you have found a relevant definition or relevant information that you think that you can use from Wikipedia or those sites which we are prohibited to cite or okay, maybe which are regarded as unreliable. You can just paraphrase it. We To be honest, I also check something from Google so that I can be able to understand it. But I do not cite Google, you know. I just paraphrase it. I just use it to get the gist of what is really actually going on there, you know. Especially Wikipedia, it explains something very clearly, but you cannot cite it. You cannot reference Wikipedia. You're going to be penalized for that because it is regarded as a site which is not reliable. So you are going to notice that the plagiarism, I mean the definition of the term plagiarism that we get from this study guide here or this tutorial 501 of INS is actually different from the definition that you are going to get from the other sources. So you can try to maybe paraphrase this one, or if you don't paraphrase it, you can simply cite it. It's a reliable source, it is acceptable. So let's further read. It further says plagiarism is essentially plagiarism essentially means using someone else's work and presenting it as your own. Plagiarism is a serious form of misconduct. It involves both stealing someone else's work and passing it off as your own work afterwards. You commit plagiarism when you present someone else's written or creative work, be it words, images, ideas, opinions, discoveries, artwork, music, recordings, computer generated work, etc., as your own. In other words, you do not acknowledge the source or give credit to the owner of the information. I have not read I did not read many things here, but you can see that we get so much information from this study guide here. Unlike the study guide that I mean the IRM study guide. So it is very essential that we do research, guys. It is very, very compulsory. Let's further go on. People who plagiarize include students, academics, authors, journalists, and anyone who creates a work, such as a piece of writing where they use someone else's work and pretend that it is their own work. Sadly, plagiarism happens frequently, especially in the digital environment, where it has become easy to copy and paste portions of text, images, video clips, etc. This is referred to as cyber plagiarism, which is the use and or copying and pasting of ideas and information from online sources on the web without properly acknowledging the original source. The same rules that apply to acknowledging and crediting print sources apply to digital information sources found on the web. However, there are some information sources that are not subject to copyright. So we can maybe just ignore that because we do not need that. We are focusing on plagiarism. So let's just ignore that and further look at several reasons why people plagiarize. Okay, it says here there are several reasons why people, especially students, plagiarize. Number one, poor planning and time management. When students realize that an assignment is due and they don't have enough time to retrieve or organize, evaluate, and synthesize information sources, they think it is easy. They think it is the easy way out simply to copy and paste portions of text from other sources and it present it as their assignment. So guys, what I would like to point out here is that you do not have to simplify this. This is something that you need to use your common sense on. See, when you know the definition of plagiarism, this is something that you can think of on your own, because we don't have to copy and paste everything. You can just paraphrase the information that we got from this study guide here. Just write it in your own way, present it as your own words, and just write it. You don't have to cite everything like you just copied everything from the internet. You're going to be penalized for that. Two, lack of skills to plan the information task and retrieve, organize, evaluate, and synthesize information sources. Three, lack of knowledge and understanding of intellectual property and copyright. Three, confusion between plagiarism and paraphrasing. Three, confusion about how to cite sources properly. That's why I directed you to the tutorial letter 501 and tutorial letter 301 or 302. That is where you are going to get the correct way of citing or referencing. So let's further look up at the ways or the types of plagiarism. There are several types of plagiarism. You see, there's a citation there. You don't have to specifically say this or write this, but it shows that you need to cite when you have a piece of information that you have took it from somewhere. One, turning in, submitting someone else's work, including ideas, research, statements, images, and statistical data as your own without crediting the actual author or researcher. Downloading an assignment from an online source and submitting it as your own work. Buying, stealing, or borrowing an assignment from another student and submitting it as your own work. Like what I am doing right here now, I am actually giving you guidance on how to write this portfolio. You don't have to necessarily take everything that I'm saying here and put it exactly the way I'm saying it. That will be plagiarism. Just use this as guidance on how to do this whole thing, guys. This is not the actual answer that you are supposed to use. You don't have to specifically go to this tutorial letter 501 of INS and look for the answers there. No, you can look for answers somewhere else. I'm just giving out, I don't know what the correct word that I'm supposed to say to use right now, but I'm just giving you an overview of how this whole portfolio is supposed to be answered. Okay, let's further go on. Using the words and or significant ideas from someone else and presenting them as your own. Copying, cutting, and pasting text from a digital source such as a web page and submitting it as your own. Guys, you know what you can do here? You cannot, maybe you don't have to specifically mention these points here the way they are mentioned here. You can just pick one and say, maybe you can just say, submitting someone else's work as your own. Number two, you can simply say downloading an assignment from the internet or buying an assignment from private tutors. You can say anything, but you can like just say anything in your own way, in your own words. Paraphrase everything here. You don't have to specifically show that you took it from somewhere, you know. Let's continue. Copying a section of a book or an article and submitting it as your own work. Putting someone else's ideas in your own words. Okay, guys, it's a lot and time is not on our side. Just try to follow the way that I have used here so that you can be able to accumulate more marks. And do not forget to cite, guys. Cite your work. Insert footnotes and endnotes. Okay, the second question says, distinguish between scientific and non-scientific research. Okay, let us go to our study guide and see what they have for us there. Guys, when they say we need to distinguish, they're actually saying that we need to point out the difference between scientific and non-scientific research. So here we're going to look at the differences of these two types of researches. You can give out the definitions first. Maybe you can simply say scientific research is a research that is based on 1, 2, 3, you know. Okay, let us just read up what we have on our study guide. Then we're going to go to our tutorial letter and see how they have written it. But we are not copying, we are just following. Okay, scientific research. It is usually difficult to provide a specific understanding of the term scientific research. One hopes that by detailing some of the views on what science really means, the meaning of scientific research will become clear. The first view is that science is always fact-based. Such facts can be observable, empirical, or non-observable, non-empirical facts. For example, principles or values. The second view is that science is logical and objective. In other words, the facts from which science is founded are a product of a rational process. The third is that science is informed by the desire to provide certainty. The fourth view on science is that the answer provided by science or through a scientific inquiry or investigation are always precise and measurable. Guys, I'm sure that you can see the answers. You are picking out the answers as I am reading now. Having regard to what is said about science in the section above, scientific research can be understood to mean a systematic investigation of scientific theories and certain prepositions. Because scientific research is systematic, a particular process or processes should be followed. It further says that, therefore, scientific research makes use of scientific methods and techniques in order to study a particular phenomenon in a manner that seeks to acquire new knowledge or to improve on or incorporate existing knowledge. So guys, what you can simply do here is to simply look for the let's say okay, let's do this. Let me just highlight it. Okay, good. We can simply say that scientific research is research that is based on some facts. You can just put it in your own way, you know. But doing that, you need to you see that you took this from somewhere. You cannot automatically know this by like common sense, like common knowledge. No, this is something which you have taken somewhere. And guys, do not go to the internet for everything. You need to also cite this study guide. It is compulsory. It is a must that you must cite this study guide. You cannot run to the internet for everything. So here you can just say that it is it is research which is based on facts. Then you cite it, put your footnotes there. I wanted to show you how to insert footnotes, but the way that I have set up my screen here, it doesn't allow me. So we're going to do it some other time. Okay. Number 2, it says the second view is that science is logical and objective. That is your second point. You need to make sure that you put that out. Paraphrase it, put it in your own notes. You cannot copy this. It is unacceptable. But even when you have paraphrased it, this is not common sense. You need to cite it as well. This was going to be footnote number 2 from the research-based essay. The research, guys, the scientific research. Then number 3, guys. The third is that science is informed by the desire to provide certainty. Put that in your own words. Scientific research provides certainty. Or you can look for a synonym on the internet. What is the synonym of the word certainty? You can use that as well. It's paraphrasing. Just make sure that you don't change the whole meaning of what it's being said there. The fourth one on science is that the answers provided by science or through a scientific inquiry or investigation are always precise and measurable. So you need to make sure that you state that scientific research provide facts which are precise and measurable, or put it in any other way that you feel like that you can put it in, You can also use this summary here on this feedback. It's a summary. You can use it. Just paraphrase it. Do not copy it and cite it, And you can also come back here and look for something that you're going to include. Don't forget that we're working for 10 marks. And law, guys. Law is something that you need to really work hard on, Okay, now let us look at the 9 scientific research. It says here, if we accept the explanation of scientific research in paragraph 1.2.1 above, it should then follow that non-scientific research refers to the opposite of scientific research. So what does this opposite really mean? Non-scientific research can be referred to as pseudo-research. This implies research that is collected haphazardly or carelessly and is often based on casual observations and statements that are not logically supported. It produces findings that cannot be reproduced and are based upon the researcher's faith or hopes. These findings, which are non-scientific in nature, are generally not used for proper research purposes. So there you have it in black and white, guys. When we look on our tutorial letter 201, I don't remember the year, we find that scientific research is regarded as research that is based on the fact-finding process. You see, they did not copy, they did not write exactly the way it is written on the study guide. They have paraphrased it, and they have also include in what's this again? What do we call this? It's not an end note. What is it? It's a footnote, and we have another footnote here. We have another footnote there. We have another footnote there. Like each point has been footnoted. You see, it has been referenced. So this process is also referred to as logic and objective method. 3. It is also regarded as a rational method of research. This process is also viewed as empirical and non-empirical. This is what you have read on the study guide, but they have put it in their own words, but they have also referenced it. So this is what we're also supposed to do. Do not copy what they have written there. Just paraphrase it, put it in your own words, and write it. And reference it. Non-scientific research. This is a research method that is based on casual observations. In other words, it is not conducted in a logical way as a scientific research does. This type of research is conducted through statements as opposed to a fact-finding process. The findings according to MC, I'm not going to say Mark, I'm going to MC NAB, cannot be produced and are based upon the researcher's faith or hopes. You see, they have done research. That's what is expected of you, to do research and also cite them. You need to further go to the internet and look it up. Don't copy anything, just paraphrase. The third question says, discuss the basic principles of transformative constitutionalism. It's also there on our study guide. Let's go there. You can read up here, everything here, on page 36 of what is transformative constitutionalism. Get the gist of what is really going on here. But you know what I did, guys? I think your first assignment had a similar question, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Another student asked me to help them with this assignment, and I actually wrote it, and she got her 100%. I first let me see. I first gave out definitions of what is transformative constitutionalism. I tried to explain it, and I also paraphrased from the study guide. I think I also quoted what Claire said here. I think I quoted this as well, and I also quoted something. Yes, I think I also quoted this as well. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to look for that document and read it out for you guys. Yes, that is going to be simple. Let me just go there. What I can actually say, guys, is that you cannot write about transformative constitutionalism and not talk about Ubuntu. You cannot talk about transformative constitutionalism and exclude the ever fresh case. and the Constitution as well. And you must also mention the Makwanyana case. So I am just going to pause this video here. Actually, I'm not going to pause it. I'm just going to stop it. I'm just going to end the video here. Then on our next video, which I am going to do tomorrow, I am simply going to read out everything. I'm just going to find the assignment which I wrote for the lady, so that you can be able to understand and see how everything is supposed to be done. And I'm going to help you guys summarize the case of Subramani and show you the in-text referencing, footnotes, and everything. Then we are going to be done with our portfolio. So guys, if this is your first time here, please subscribe to the channel, which is free. It doesn't cost you anything. You won't lose any airtime, you won't lose data, you won't lose anything. You are just subscribing so that you cannot lose the link, and it can be simple for you to get other law related modules, which videos which are going to help you, like this video here. So please guys, because of time, just allow me to pause it here. Tomorrow you're going to get another video.